I hope they don't expect me to sing along. With the lights right there in my eyes, it looks like a packed room. Don't dissuade me from thinking that. It looks packed. 153 mornings from right now, we're going to wake up in places all across this country, and for the tens of you that still read the physical newspaper, and the rest of us who do it on our phones and iPads, we're going to look and see what we had just accomplished on November the 6th. We will look and see what the future of this state and what our country has become. And I'm here to tell you that if what we're looking to do is to fortify freedom, there is one seat in particular up for election in 30 different states across this country that's more powerful than you can possibly imagine. No, it's not governor, those pretty men and pretty women that get driven around by the state patrol. No, it's not that one. It's not U.S. senators with their perfect hair. I mean, Cory Gardner, come on. Dang. That hair may be his best political asset. I mean, I don't know. No, it's not either of those things. It's the Attorney General. Now, this is not your grandfather or grandmother's Attorney General's office anymore. The states that will be deciding who is going to be their next AG, their next defender of their populace, their protector of their laws and their Constitution. There's 30 of them, states as small and insignificant as Texas, Florida, California, New York, and even where we sit right now. 70% of the attorneys general in this country will face an election. Now, these positions have become weaponized over the past couple years. Now, we've seen a significant change in these when it comes to things like the rule of law. Now, you will remember that before President Trump, we had 8 years of a different president. And during those 8 years, there were 46 multi-state lawsuits, almost all of them bipartisan, to prevent the federal government from overreaching into our states and telling us how to live our lives. 46, that's less than, 6 a year. Last year alone, the Democrat attorneys general across this country filed 47 different multi-state actions, 35 multi-state actions against the president to stop, wait for it, not federal overreach, but to prevent federal underreach. Here's the examples. Under President Obama, do you guys remember that there was some legislation, some ideas for governance that were so radical they could not pass Congress? One of them, Waters of the United States, sought to regulate every accumulation of water bigger than a puddle and co-opt it and make it regulated by the federal government. Do you guys remember that? A bipartisan group of attorneys general pushed back and said, no, that is not the role of the federal government. That's not what the Constitution ensures. The 10th Amendment says something different, and we're not going to stand for an administrative rule that hijacks all of our water. Had you ever heard of the Clean Power Plan? Do you remember this one? The Clean Power Plan was so radical that it too could not pass Congress. But through an agency rule, an administrative action, the federal government sought to dictate to each and every state and territory the level of emissions that they must have, the cleanliness of their air. That EPA under President Obama said that the Clean Air Act of 1990, the one that had been enforced for a quarter century, was somehow now ambiguous. And so by rule, they hijacked the state's ability to govern itself, and they did an end run around Congress. And do you know what Congress did? Congress, through the CRA, pushed back and said, no, we disagree with this rule. President Obama vetoed that rejection of that overreaching rule. And so who came to save the day? Attorneys general across the country. And in a bipartisan fashion, they sued to prevent the federal government from taking over more state responsibility. And you know who else agreed with them, at least in the short term, is the Supreme Court of the United States, and in an unprecedented fashion, delayed the implementation of that rule. Today, it's different. Today, we see a president who is willing to give back to states the ability to make decisions for themselves. Today, we have a president who says these are matters so big, they cannot be determined by a 3-2 vote of an administrative agency. Congress must act. And who is standing in the way of this new liberty, of this new discretion? The Democrat AGs across the United States. And what they have done is to take this position, which for decades was a mere protector of the laws and the Constitution, and turn them into little more than political ambulance chasers. You can almost see the ads right now. Some bookish-looking academic sitting on the edge of a desk, books behind him, a person who's probably never been in a courtroom for other than their own traffic ticket, looking into the camera and saying, "Liberty got you down? PTSD from the last presidential election? Does your neck hurt from being backed over by a truckload of freedom? Well, call me, the crazy progressive AG. I can help you accomplish in a courtroom what you could not accomplish through the democratic process. Call me, and we will legislate through litigation." And that's what's at stake on November the 6th across this country. There are a great number of ideas out there that need to be debated in Congress. Maybe net neutrality is one of them. Maybe DACA. Maybe anything to do with immigration. And can I just say right now, if you're out there and you're a member of Congress or you know someone, can we please get them to do something on the immigration issue? Can we get them to do something, please? You know, we've created a situation here where with DACA, and we're talking about the rule of law, we've created a situation where we have allowed the President of the United States to say whole cloth, I disagree with this congressionally passed law, I'm just going to stop enforcing it. That's outrageous. We can't tolerate that. And the only people that seem to have the ability to stop them are either AGs or Congress. And we need them to act. Now look, this debate that we have on these issues, these things that are going to take place in Congress, regardless of the outcome, as conservatives, we are people that believe that the democratic process achieves the right result. The other side believes that the ends justify the means, and we cannot let government become Machiavellian. We must insist that our government remain republic, remain democratic, and protect our freedoms and our laws. So as an Army colonel, as the district attorney of 1 million people in this state, as the father of 4 public school attending kids, when the issues that states confront are as varied as the opioid crisis, as human trafficking, as the increasing violent crime rate, and also the things that govern how states regulate themselves, I plead with you to leave this room when you do and take a renewed interest in those spots that you may have only given scant thought to. Those attorneys general are the new 3rd U.S. senators, really, across the country. And it is important that whoever we put in those positions, independent of party, independent of personality, is someone who is committed to our laws and committed to our Constitution. I leave you with these 3 things. I want more democracy and less bureaucracy. I want I want more legislation and less litigation. And for those of you that are here from this great state, 5,280 feet up in the air, and that's probably what's making you feel funny. It's not the legalized marijuana, I promise. It's the air. I want more Colorado and less Washington, D.C. My name's George Brauchler. It's been an honor to speak in front of you. Thank you very much.